Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. Honestly, I picked this one because honestly, it's important to be mindful of what you're doing any of this for. Are you doing it for the riches upon this earth, for others to corrupt and then steal from you, or whatever have you? Think long and hard about your answer, and I hope to hear it in the comments. Now, enjoy the video. Hey, I'm in a different location now. This will only be temporary. It's not for long, but just bear with me. Now let's get into the review. Okay, so Superman and Lois. Personally, I enjoy this show in general. I used to make little mini reviews of it. I used to talk about the show a lot more ad nauseum and in length, but slowed down on it mainly because I just wanted to enjoy the show as it is. I feel like a lot of what I do, I just end up talking about it on YouTube anyway. But it's like, yeah, sometimes I just want to unwind, unplug, and just watch something just to watch it. I say all that to say, now enjoy this video while I milk this show for views. But also, I really do want to talk about this season and also the show in general. Anyway, let's continue. But I do love this show, and I love Superman as a character as itself. Like, I literally even have a Superman tattoo because of it. It's the only tattoo I have. And moving past that, yeah, the opener of this season was pretty good. Like, I think the first episode was very well paced because it dealt with a lot of the interpersonal drama and a lot of the interpersonal dynamics between the extended family of Superman, so to speak. It was interesting to see how Jordan and how the other one, I forgot this dude's name, John. Yeah, John. I'm surprised they're not gonna make him gay. Like, it was such a shocker because you know how the comics do. You know, if the comics do it nowadays in modern comics, then the TV shows have to do it. And they didn't choose to do it this season, which is good because personally, it was out of nowhere when the comics did it, and I'm glad they didn't do it here. Moving past that, the Jordan thing is actually more interesting because obviously it would be, instead of just dealing with the jock son. Also, I'm not gonna lie, since this is the last season, I can get my critiques out the way. Why doesn't John have any powers? Like, I don't get how that works, how like one twin has powers but the other one doesn't. Literally makes no sense, like, at all. Like, they're both the biological son of Kal-El. It's not like one is like a bastard seed because they were twins. They should be genetically on some level, you know, twins or identical. You get what I mean? They're twins and only nothing but name only. Like, it's so weird how John doesn't have powers, but Jordan does. They use him for a lot of the themes and a lot of the issues that kids with disabilities would have, and I don't like how they do that either. I think it's kind of in your face about it. They don't try to be too, you know, nonchalant about it. They're just kind of like, yeah, this is it, and this is why it's this. You know, just using him as a self-insert for other characters and other people who would like latch onto these characters. It's really annoying. But moving past that, just, yeah. Dealing with the fact that they might lose their dad forever has been a very interesting theme that's been running throughout the season. Now, obviously, I know it's useless because Superman's gonna come back. They're literally adapting the death of Superman. But you can see that where they're going with this. If you've read the comics, if you've been around the online, you've seen like 1,000 different Superman media, you already know where this is leading to, the death of Superman and then the resurrection of Superman. Also, just because it's in the comics, it doesn't mean that is good. I'm feeling the need to say this because like a lot of people got it twisted. They're like, oh, but it was in the comics, or something was in the comics. Yeah, it don't matter. If it's trash in the comics, and it shouldn't be adapted in the source material. That goes for anything, not just like political news or anything. If it's trash, it's trash. Look at what the readers like, and then do that. It's not really hard. Anyway, that's in my take. Back to the main video. Things of that nature. You get my drift here? Like, yeah, it's not really too much of a shocker to just say, oh yeah, this is what's going to happen, obviously. So I just like the way they do it in this adaptation the best. They've never dealt with this before. This isn't like something that's happened before, and it's very interesting that they do that. So aside from that, yeah, the Lois and Lex dynamic is interesting. The one thing about Superman and Lois I was hesitant on getting aboard with was the whole idea of, like, you know, Lex being more involved with Lois than he would be with Superman, and the way they go about their relationship, because the previous seasons they basically never mentioned it. Like, they never mentioned Lex, they never talked about Lex that much at length at all, like literally at all. He pretty much just didn't exist until like the season finale, and this season when he'll be like the main big bad. So yeah, very weird. I do think the things they do with this version of Lex is interesting. I'm not gonna lie, The casting, I'm not a fan of it. Like, I'm just not. You could argue that, oh, I'm just a Michael Rosenbaum stan and I just don't want things to change. It's like this Lex has no charisma at all. He doesn't act like Lex. He doesn't feel like Lex. He feels like a Breaking Bad character, quite literally. I don't dig it personally. So I think he's intimidating, sure, in a Breaking Bad kind of way. But that's the problem. It shouldn't remind me of Breaking Bad. It should remind me of Lex Luthor, the smarmy, slimy businessman that despises Superman with the burning passion of 1,000 red suns. Get my drift? And with this version of Lex, I don't feel that. I feel like he's just here to piss off Lois, to make her life hell. And it's just like, yeah, he's not even as excited that he got rid of Superman. He's more like, okay, one chip off the board. Now let me deal with Lois real quick. Like, his biggest thing is that he hates Superman. Like, he looks at Superman as everything wrong with the world, even though obviously it's projection. And that's the point of Lex. He's wrong in his hatred of Superman. But moving past that little bit of lore, yeah, the thing is, yeah, Lex doesn't feel like Lex here. He never does. And you can feel it. He's intimidating. He plays a villain very well. The actor does a great job of that. But he's not Lex Luthor. Like, he's just not. I think people compare, like, you know, Smallville to like a lot of other Superman shows that came out, a lot of other things in general to have anything to do with Superman, because again, it is the benchmark, it is the template, it is how you get these characters right. And DC doesn't look too much at their old material to figure out what works and what doesn't. So shout out goes out to Echo. He essentially says that, like, you know, Omni-Man has like normal reaction time of like a normal person, and they've shown it plenty of times, and he can't react nearly as fast as Bardock can. I mean, obviously, for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, Death Battle is extremely freaking disingenuous when it comes to their scaling, when it comes to their statements or whatever have you. Anyway, shout out to you. Peace. Like, I've seen set photos. Yes. I've seen the little snippets of him being shaven. It's cool, but like it won't change how the character looks. It won't change how the character acts, you know? And I've had like similar complaints with like Lois Lane. She just doesn't look like Lois to me. Like, even if you want to go, oh, but she's older, yeah, but her face structure just doesn't give Lois Lane. Not gonna lie, but whatever. People gonna have their own little biases towards or against, but either way, it just doesn't work for me. I think other than that, yeah, the rest of the casting is fine. Like, I'm not really too mad at the rest of the casting or recasting of other certain characters. It's not really gonna kill me. I like the fact that we had like a 2-episode thing. We got into the whole like Fortress of Solitude and the whole bringing them back, because the second episode was like, this is what happens like after the fact, you know, after, you know, Clark spent the entire first episode fighting for his life, literally, you know, trying not to die to Doomsday, and he ends up losing the fight. Fine. You know, my glorious king, you know, getting cooked again on screen by Doomsday again. Then again, that's his job. Doomsday's job is to cook Clark Kent. I get it. I really do. Trust me, I do. It's like, did he even take any damage? I don't think Doomsday took any damage whatsoever. It's kind of crazy, but moving past it, I do think it's interesting as far as, you know, the way they go about, you know, the legacy of Superman, because that's pretty much the next episode. It's like, oh, what we do without Superman now that we know he's gone, now that we know he's not coming back, quote unquote, not coming back. You know, they try to make it seem like it's so final. Like, oh my God, like, bro, like Superman's heart got stomped out by Lex. It's like, bro, come on now. He's coming back. Set photos aside, Doomsday kills Superman every time, and Superman always comes back every time. And they're not gonna have a whole season without Superman. Why are we doing this? Again, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to sell it for like the audience and for like the you know, the characters in the universe. But I'm like, bro, come on, like, stop it. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't know. In hindsight, in the meta aspect, I'm just like, okay, now, when is he gonna get up? I'm like, you know, like, what episode? Episode 3, episode 4? There's only 10 episodes this season, so yeah, you get what I mean? And when the hell is Jordan gonna get a suit? For Christ's sake, this is annoying to me. Like, I'm sorry, like, the suit he rocking, the little Snoopy little thing he got on, the weird drip, bro, just take it off. Either get a suit or just wear a fucking black tee like Connor. Speaking of, no, Connor is crazy. Would love to see the dynamic and the rivalry of other Superboys, you know, fighting for that whole thing. And they even name drop Brainiac. Like, why would Brainiac help Lex? This must be the most whitewashed Brainiac we've ever see. But this is crazy to me. But I don't know, man. I just think it's kind of wild. Like, Brainiac apparently just made a thing just to place, you know, Kal-El's heart in a jar. For what? Just so Lex could break it in front of his son. By the way, this Lex is ruthless as all hell. Like I said, I like the ruthless nature. I really do. I promise you I do. But other than that, he's not Lex. He should be jumping with joy that he just did that. He's just all calm and calculated. Like, bro, Lex is a ass when it comes to Superman. Anytime Superman pulls up, his facade goes away and the insecurities of the man he wants to be shines through. Anyway, but that's just my take on it. First 2 episodes are really good. I had my critiques, but other than that, I thought it was great, first starter. Now we got a 2-parter, bars. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Other than that, see you guys in the next video. Let me know what you guys thought of the episodes. Anyway, peace.